Hi, this is Joseph Vivaldi, and this is Improving Your Mental Health. I am going to discuss today about COVID, mental health, and what a post-pandemic world is going to look like. Well, according to what I'm concerned of and whatever I know, every agency has their own regulations over a mask wearing situation. Even if you're vaccinated, apparently, according to what I know, some areas you have to wear a mask. So however, it conflicts with the state regulations that says, hey, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. And it's one thing. Also, we're not allowing anyone to sit in the building to eat when a local shop down the road might have it in full capacity. I mean, I think there are double standards because corporations and agencies take a different approach in the matter than the government roles. And I think, if the government says, hey, this is the law, then I would think that they'd have to accept and go along with the law. So I just don't understand. This is the questions that people are going to ask going into a post-pandemic period. And many have concerns, many have whatever. It's like, how do you know somebody's sick? Somebody might not say something and, for the fear of scrutiny and everything else, but if you feel that way, you shouldn't have to be afraid. And you shouldn't have to be afraid that that you shouldn't even avoid the person afterwards. So, I'm going to discuss about that with mental health. Let's just say people that I've known who've had it, and I won't mention names, but people I know who've had it. I had the first vaccine shot. I was around them, and I wound up okay. And I was close to them. So, that's what I'm saying. Don't take it from me. I mean, it's like they had their recuperation time. They had their quarantining time, and it was okay. Shouldn't be, stress, whatever. If they recover, they recover. You should open them back into the environment. And, not, treat them differently. Because they may feel that they say, hey, I had this. I'm going to be judged. But it's an illness. Just like mental health, COVID was an illness too. And, we don't want to, have hunts over who had what and what had who. So it's like, there's a lot of fear going on in some agencies, and there's a lot of fear going on in others, and I understand that there's fear in all of this but eventually we have to overcome. We have to return to a world before COVID, even though we don't want to. Even though we had that fear. That's why mental health professionals need to be, at call and ready to help. Because people have been affected by this illness. And rather they have stigmas applied to them, or they're afraid, or stuff like that. We can't be fearful. We can't be afraid. And many of us have fears for a lot of stuff. I remember the first time in a long time I went to a crowded restaurant and I felt uncomfortable. I was on edge. I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to having people on top of me. I liked that space in between because it gave me the privacy of having the date. And one thing with COVID, I didn't have to worry about that. I liked the little space in between. I didn't like, eating and having people on top of me. That's just me. It's like, when you have a waiter, like where I went yesterday, I had a waiter right in my face. It's like, okay, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's, I know a lot of people have those same fears. They don't like it, and it's like too soon. How do we come back and how do we deal with it? Because a lot of us may have enjoyed the amenities during we didn't enjoy the lockdown, but some of us may have enjoyed the spacing period during COVID. We enjoyed having social distance. But if you're in an area like mine, you don't have many restaurants to eat, you don't have many coffee houses to go to, and there's not too many Starbucks, there's not too many coffee houses. So, we have a mayor that likes building and building and building and building apartment complexes with places where no people could go to. It's ridiculous. So we're gonna have a lot of people with no place to go. So that's what I say. Like I say, it's sure these apartment places are good, but you need to be putting into a place where we have restaurants, we have coffee houses, we have a lot of other buildings that we didn't have before. They ought to be located. It's just, the fact that there's a main street and there should be a coffee house on Main Street or two for people to go, but the fact is we don't have any coffee house on Main Street. So that's what I say. A lot of people during this COVID period are going to have to not get comfortable with going to places again because, we gotta face the social anxiety we faced before because, during COVID, we didn't have the extra stimuli of people judging us. We wore masks, and we weren't focused on what they were thinking because everyone was thinking, I want to get my item and get the hell out of here. So, yeah. So, all I'm saying is that during COVID, they gotta take care of whatever they need to take care of. I mean, I guess if you have social anxiety, you might feel good about going to a place without many people. But now I guess you gotta get comfortable when you're not comfortable as it is dealing with going to a place with a lot of people. And especially after the whole COVID situation where you have anxiety over people, well, you are going to have to get over it. Like me and like everyone else. So, and we have to deal with the frustration that everybody's going to a certain place when we may want to go to McDonald's that's not crowded and they don't even have their doors open anyone. So basically, which that may help. And I'm not saying McDonald's. I don't know what their policies are. Everyone's policy is different. I'm singling them out, but I could be going on another thing. But it's a matter of opening the doors if you have a crowded town and building places where people could go. That's what they got to do. Because, they haven't. It's like some places have, some places haven't. I can't judge. But, they're going to have places in line to go with seating and stuff like that. Like coffee houses with seating. They can't be all bars. Like, there's got to be some coffee houses. And, they gotta have, like, it can't be, one big place to shop. Like, they need to break it down. I don't know. It's, you're in a radius of a community that builds, they're gonna need to build the amenities that help the community grow and to deal with the issues because you know what? They have had issues before with people. Now they have issues again because you're going to be having a conversation with a person at a local Applebee's and then you're going to have somebody on top of you. And you're going to be like, you know what? I can't say whatever I want to say because I have the notion and the delusion that someone else is listening. So you can't concentrate on that conversation and, it could be a miserable night afterwards. So that's what I'm saying. This is going to be some of the issues that we're going to deal with in post-pandemic era. And I guess a lot of us have to deal with it because, it's not right because we may want to go to McDonald's to get away from the crowd, yet we can't, and we have to go to some place where we have to deal with the crowd. And it's, and then we might have to go somewhere which has seating, and you might not even like the food and the service, and they might be on top of you. So it's just some things that you have to deal with. And how do you dealing with some stuff in a post-pandemic era? And I know I might be a little whatever, but this is helping me get it out. I remember, social anxiety is never fun, and if they had it before, they're gonna more so have it now, because I still haven't seen some of my friends, most of my friends, or almost all of my friends, since before the pandemic. So, I'm gonna put it on display there. Hopefully, since things are opening up and people are doing whatever, maybe that will get back to society again. But we're going to have to deal with a lot of social anxiety issues, because if they had issues before, imagine the issues that they're going to have when they come back. I mean, how do you deal with social anxiety issues? How do you deal with being in a crowded place? If you weren't in a crowded place for a while and you add an illness on top of it, yeah, you're going to have stress and mental issues over it. So this has been Improving Your Mental Health. I know I've had a lot of gripes over this. This is a topic about COVID and social anxiety. And we're meant to be social, but we have a lot of problems that we're overcoming, and we're not facing our fear as we should in some places, and in other places we have to be bombarded by the fear. So, or not have an enjoyable experience. So, this has been Improving Your Mental Health. I'm Joseph Valdi. I'm on Patreon, and also I'm on Spreaker. You could check me out there. I'm going to post the links below. And also, I'm going to plug EJE Sports Cards. They're a very reputable company. They buy and sell sports memorabilia. Mention the name Joseph Vivaldi from the Joseph Vivaldi Network. They'll cut you a good deal, and maybe me too. Also, I'm going to plug One Main Financial. I needed a loan from them one time, and they were happy to oblige. So, thank you for that, especially when I needed it. Now I've got to pay, but hey, that's the way of life. You need a loan, you got to pay, they help, but you're going to have to pay back. So I would say, if you're going to pay back and if you need something very important, that's a way to go. So, this has been Improving Your Mental Health. I'm Joseph Ivaldi, and I'm discussing about COVID and social anxiety. Have a good night.